Senator John Fetterman is now taking the gloves off and suing Sonny Hostin and the producers of The View, moving his signature hoodie-wearing, straight-talking persona from policy debates straight into a courtroom showdown with the queens of daytime talk. But how did things get so out of hand, and why are we all so captivated by the drama? It all began when Hostin, one of The View's co-hosts, made some highly controversial comments about Fetterman. Now, The View is no stranger to fiery debates and bold opinions, but this particular remark seemed to hit a nerve. In a space where opinions fly fast and often with little apology, this one crossed a line, leaving many people wondering, why is Fetterman now stepping?
Ask you this. While Democrats work on fixing past mistakes, a lot of Americans are disturbed about the future. Trump is terrorizing migrants by threatening to call on the military to round them up on U.S. soil. He's also imposing tariffs that everybody says could send prices soaring, and threats to punish the media who don't fall in line. Of all of that, Senator, what worries you the most?
Well, I mean, nothing really worries me. Because right now nothing has really happened yet. I mean, Trump now is 6 weeks out before he's even going to be inaugurated. But America signed up for this. It's undeniable. He won the popular vote, and he ran the table, including my state as well. This is what America decided. So this is definitely going to go in a direction that a lot of Democrats aren't going to agree with that. But I'm going to be a part of that conversation, and there's going to be plenty of people that are going to freak out, or they're going to
away from his usual policy discussions to dive into a full-blown legal battle. But before we dive into the drama, make sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all the latest Hollywood news. Now, here's the context. Fetterman recently took a trip to Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's estate in Florida. And no, he wasn't there for a round of golf or to try those famous Mar-a-Lago cheeseburgers. Fetterman, a Democrat, was actually trying to build bipartisan connections in an era where political divides seemed deeper than ever. But Sonny Hostin wasn't having any of it. She raised some serious doubts about Fetterman's intentions, suggesting that his visit wasn't about bridging the political gap, it was about cozying up to the opposition. It wasn't just a critique, it felt personal.
I'm open to many of the nominees. I thought that's been part of the ongoing dialogue, that I've been happy to meet with all of them, and I think I've met with virtually all of them. And I've been watching the hearings, and now that's an ongoing dialogue. So nothing really has changed.
Hostin basically accused Fetterman of throwing his democratic values out the window just for a seat at Trump's table. Now, imagine being Fetterman here. He's trying to revive bipartisan dialogue, something we all desperately need, and suddenly, a talk show host accuses him of cozying up to the enemy. That's not just frustrating, it's potentially career-threatening. And Fetterman, well, he wasn't about to let that slide. Let's take a moment to talk about Mar-a-Lago for a second. In today's political climate, it's no longer just a place, it's a symbol. To Trump supporters, it's a fortress. To his critics, it's the Death Star. So when Fetterman decided to step into Trump's Florida stronghold, he knew he was entering a political minefield. But here's the thing, Fetterman isn't your typical Democrat. This is a guy who built his career on authenticity, pragmatism, and a refusal to play by the usual political playbook. Whether it's his hoodie and soup aesthetic or his willingness to call out his own party, Fetterman has always been a political maverick. His visit to Mar-a-Lago wasn't about aligning with Trump, it was about finding common ground on issues that mattered to Pennsylvanians. Still, the optics were tricky. In an age where crossing the aisle can be seen as a betrayal, Fetterman's trip was always going to stir controversy. But what he probably didn't expect was for that controversy to spiral into a full-blown lawsuit. When Sonny Hostin made her remarks, Fetterman didn't just brush it off. Sure, politicians are often criticized on TV, that's practically a rite of passage.
that you will also have plans to work with the administration as to how to remedy a lot of the death and destruction that happened in Gaza as well. I know you've spoken about that. There's been a lot of soul searching on the Democratic side, people needing answers on what went wrong. Do you think that is helpful? And do you think there should also be some soul searching on the Republican side who need to analyze why they would nominate a convicted felon who ran on lies, threats of retribution, and concepts of a plan?
But Fetterman saw this as more than just a personal jab. He felt that Hostin's comments were misleading, harmful, and reflected a larger issue with today's media landscape. So, what's Fetterman's argument here? Well, he's claiming that Hostin twisted the facts to fit a sensational narrative, which ultimately undermines his credibility and damages his reputation. And he's not wrong to be concerned. In a world where headlines travel at lightning speed, a single comment can shift public perception in powerful ways. But here's the thing, this isn't just about Fetterman feeling slighted. It's about principle. Fetterman believes that letting this kind of commentary go unchecked sets a dangerous precedent, one that blurs the line between legitimate criticism and outright misinformation. For someone like Fetterman, who's all about fostering honest, productive dialogue, defending that line is crucial. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. This lawsuit isn't just about one senator and one talk show host. It's a microcosm of the broader tension between politics and media. Think about it. We live in a world where political discourse is increasingly shaped by sound bites, memes, and hot takes. Complex issues get reduced to clickbait headlines, and the line between entertainment and journalism gets fuzzier every day. Fetterman's law.
Well, I mean, nothing really worries me. Because right now nothing has really happened yet. I mean, Trump now is 6 weeks out before he's even going to be inaugurated. But America signed up for this. It's undeniable. He won the popular vote, and he ran the table, including my state as well, too. This is what America does.
Lawsuit forces us to grapple with some tough questions. What responsibility do media personalities have to ensure their commentary is fair and accurate? At what point does criticism cross the line into defamation? And how do we balance freedom of speech with accountability? These are questions that go far beyond Fetterman's case. They strike at the heart of how we consume news and shape public opinion today. For Hostin and the producers of The View, this lawsuit could serve as a wake-up call. While the show thrives on provocative discussions, this case underscores the potential consequences of pushing the envelope too far. One of the most fascinating aspects of this story is Fetterman himself. He's not your typical politician, and that's a big part of what makes this lawsuit so compelling. Fetterman has built his brand on being a straight shooter. He's the guy who calls out hypocrisy, stands firm on his beliefs, and refuses to play the usual partisan game. This authenticity has earned him both fans and critics. To his supporters, he's a refreshing break from the spin and double talk of typical politics. To his detractors, he's a wild card, unpredictable and sometimes abrasive. But whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that Fetterman is willing to fight for what he believes in. In this case, that means fighting to preserve the integrity of political dialogue. Of course, it wouldn't be fair to tell the story without considering The View's side.
I think she's changed her tune. I think when they go low, you have to meet that energy and perhaps go even lower, become small like an ant and go to the Earth's crust. And what I will say is, what I will say is, she said that she did not enjoy Trump's 2017 inauguration because there was no diversity, there was no color on that stage. She said there was no reflection of the broader sense of what America looks like, and many people took pictures of her, she just wasn't in.
As a show, they thrive on controversy. Their bread and butter is dissecting hot-button issues with a mix of humor, passion, and, let's be honest, occasional drama. In their defense, they're not exactly known for playing it safe. Sunny Hostin, in particular, is one of the show's more outspoken voices, and her commentary often pushes boundaries. That's part of what makes her so polarizing. She's not afraid to challenge ideas, and sometimes those challenges land her in the middle of heated disputes like this one. To her fans, Sunny Hostin is fearless and unfiltered. To her critics, she's reckless and inflammatory. In this case, many might argue that her comments were simply an opinion, her perspective based on her interpretation of Fetterman's actions. But Fetterman's lawsuit suggests otherwise. He's not just saying, "I disagree with your take," he's saying, "Your take was factually wrong and damaging." At its core, this lawsuit taps into a larger cultural moment. We're living in an era where trust in institutions, whether it's government, media, or even science, is at an all-time low. People are skeptical, cynical, and quick to assume the worst. In that context, the way we talk about politics matters more than ever. Fetterman's visit to Mar-a-Lago was a bold move. It was an attempt to bridge the divide in a country that often feels irreparably fractured. But the reaction to that visit and the fallout that followed highlights just how difficult it is to navigate today's political landscape. On one hand, you have people who see any attempt at bipartisanship as a betrayal. On the other hand, you have people so entrenched in their own views that they can't even entertain the idea of compromise. In the middle of it all is Fetterman, trying to walk a tightrope over a pit of partisan quicksand. So where do we go from here? The lawsuit is still in its early stages, and it's hard to predict how it will play out. Will it end in a settlement? Will it go to trial? Will it spark a larger conversation about media accountability? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the story isn't just about Fetterman and Hostin. It's about all of us. It's about how we consume media, how we engage with politics, and how we navigate the increasingly blurry line between opinion and fact. At the end of the day, Fetterman's lawsuit is more than just legal drama. It's a reminder of the stakes in today's political and media landscape. It challenges us to think critically about the narratives we buy into and the impact those narratives have on public discourse. So, what do you think? Is Fetterman a hero for standing up against what he sees as harmful rhetoric, or is this just another example of political theater? Whatever your take, one thing's clear: this story is far from over. And in the meantime, we'll all be watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.